Mr. Malviya, the law was amended to ensure that these intermediaries actually clean up fake news online, and which is what they've done. You didn't like it in this instance because it happened to be a BJP spokesperson, and which is why Twitter alleges and internet freedom activists allege that your government is now trying to browbeat Twitter to fall in line, whereas you amended the law for them to be able to do exactly what Twitter did.
Look, Rahul, we did not amend the law. The law existed before we came into office. So it was the legacy of the UPA. The intermediary rules that have been framed now, as in addition to the existing laws, expect these social media companies to do certain things. Also, these social media companies are not supposed to be sitting in judgment of what people tweet or what people say, unless they comply to or are in violation of the law of the land. That we should be very clear. Freedom of speech and expression will be dictated by the constitutional position of India and not by what Twitter thinks is right or wrong. It is not for Twitter to decide what is fake news and what isn't fake news, or for that matter, any other social media. Let me give you an example. The attack on Charlie Hebdo that happened, you may think that this was an act of terror. Someone else may think that this was Islamic Jihad. Twitter will censor somebody who says Islamic Jihad and perhaps will let a terror attack narrative pass. That is the problem that we are talking about. As far as Delhi police is concerned, there was an FIR filed by the Congress party alleging that the toolkit is not theirs. The matter was in the domain of investigation. The Delhi police was looking at evidences. Twitter, in the meanwhile, goes ahead and tags the content posted by people as manipulated media. So clearly, Twitter has some information that the agencies did not have. All that the agencies did is went to their office and served a notice saying, please let us know what is the information that you have, which is beyond what is there in the public domain.
No, but that's the point, Gurshabad Grover, that internet freedom activists and companies like Twitter need to answer. You've declared something as being manipulated media, huge embarrassment for Sambit Patra. People are wondering what he did, which was manipulated, and yet you don't explain how you arrived at that conclusion. You know, even when a Supreme Court or High Court judge pronounces a particular verdict, he explains the rationale so people know how this judge came to the verdict and the conclusion that what Sambit Patra did was manipulated. Twitter hasn't explained that. Is it okay for them not to explain why they did what they did?
Rahul, if I may quickly come in, the point is that, of course, we would like more transparency and accountability from platforms like Twitter and Facebook. This is absolutely true. My basic point was that what they have done is not in violation of any law. And Mr. Malviya's reading of the law is also incorrect. If I may quickly quote point 3D in the new rules notified, and this is the BJP government in power notifying the rules in February of 2021, so only 2 months ago. This is provided that removal of disabling of access to any information or communication on a voluntary basis or on the basis of grievances shall not amount to be a violation of the conditions which give them safe harbor and immunity from liability. So this is the law in this regard is very clear. So it is false to say that Twitter does not have the power to do this. Now, do we want more transparency and accountability in this process? Absolutely. But the question we're trying to address is how the police is taking arbitrary action against a company which has no basis in law. That's the point, right?
Okay.
I pointed out to a specific rule. Can the government or any BJP spokesperson point to the specific provision which allows them to question the decision of the platform and send the special cell of the Delhi police?
Do you want to answer that, Amit Malviya?
Sorry, what's the question here?
His question is, under what law, under what rule did the Delhi police go and ask Twitter how they labeled it manipulated media? There is nothing, according to Gurshabad Grover, which allows the Delhi police to do so.
Why? Delhi police is investigating an FIR that has been filed to them. And if somebody has gone ahead and tagged the particular content as manipulated, then they are liable to explain to the agencies what is the information that they have on board. Where is exactly the doubt on that?
That is exactly what I'm asking. How are they liable to give an explanation? What part of the law says that? No part of the law says that. The law should say that. We can discuss that.
No, let's be very clear on this. There is a matter that is sub judice, that is under investigation at the moment, and a certain private entity sits in judgment of it. Presumably it has certain information which is not with the agencies. Are you saying the agencies cannot ask that private entity for the information that they have which is not in the public domain? Is that your argument?
No,
That's exactly what Delhi police did. Where is the question on that?
The central government is allowed to request information from platforms
No,
like Twitter.
Delhi police is the investigating agency in this case.
Yes.
There is an FIR registered. They find out that Twitter seems to have some information which is not in the public domain, on the basis of which they have tagged the tweet as manipulated. Is it your argument that the Delhi police are not well within their right to ask that private agency to provide that information?
There are two.
Is that what you're saying?
There are two distinct matters here, Mr. Malviya. One is the fact
I have just one question. Please tell me.
Let him speak. He's heard your question. He's heard your question. Let him respond.
Yes.
Let him
May I
respond.
answer the
What is the
question if you are
information do
posing
they
it to
have?
me?
Go on.
The Delhi police, the central government, is empowered under section 69 of the IT Act to request any information it wants from an intermediary or platform. This is absolutely true. That this is a separate matter because we haven't seen a section 69 order requesting information, have we? Have we seen that justification? We haven't. The fact, there is a distinct matter that Mr. Malviya is appealing to, which the government has no legal power to question, which is how Twitter marks something as manipulated media. This was my narrow point, and I hope the explanation